If you haven't seen enough already, we have Jasmine Crockett here on CNN talking about Elon Musk and Doge, the representative from Texas. Roll the clip.
Thank you so much for joining me this evening. There is a lot to unpack, especially the title he has. Now, as a special government employee, would that give him the right to be able to access the Treasury Department's payment system or even USAID?
No, absolutely not. I like that you laid out the description of the type of employee he is. This is the first that I'm actually hearing of it. We thought that this may have been his classification. With this classification, you normally are not allowed to run anything. Absolutely not. So that's already.
So she's already implying that he's running something. He's not running anything. He is a special government employee. He's basically there to, as an expert, to give advice. That is basically it. He's not running anything. She's like trying to give off the notion that he's running Doge. He's not running Doge.
Exceeding the scope of what you're allowed to do with this type of classification. That's number one. Number two, with this type of classification, you're looking at maybe about 120 days. This isn't somebody that is supposed to be on full time forever. So maybe that's why he wants to sleep on the job, because he knows that it's supposed to expire. But right now we have an administration that could care less about what the courts say that they can do, that could care less about what the law says, that could care less about the Constitution. And so I think that we have to understand that we are not dealing with normal people. We are dealing with someone who is proven to be a criminal, proven to be disrespectful to us as Americans. And listen, we have to fight him the exact same way. We have to come back with the same type of energy, which means that if you want to play ball, then I'm ready to play ball. Listen, you guys decided to do this while the House was out. Well, the House is back in as of tomorrow, and I can guarantee you there will be some spicy things that I will be up to tomorrow, because I am a duly elected member of the U.S. House, and we will have some things that we are trying to do. As of today, we know that
Well, like what, for example?
so Ranker Meeks, who is the ranker for Foreign Affairs, he filed a privilege motion as relates to this trade war, which, of course, Trump has allegedly resolved that very quickly.
Okay, she's trying to make it seem like he didn't resolve. This is what happened. Trump used these tariffs as a negotiating tactic to get our neighbors, Mexico and Canada, to do what he wants them to do, which is what they did, which is why he put a hold for 30 days on the tariffs. That's it. He got what he wanted out of it. That was the point. They keep trying to flip it like Trump folded. No, Trump got what he wanted out of it. Now there's a hold, so they can talk and something that can work something out, but he got what he wanted out of it at the end of the day. So
But he was exceeding his emergency powers. He was misusing his emergency powers to try to engage in this anyway. So at this point in time, if we've got to file privilege motions, if we've got to do amicus briefs, if we've got to physically show up some places and ask some questions, because you can't keep us out. You may be able to say to whomever is running security somewhere that you're going to keep employees out. But as a sitting member of Congress, especially one that serves on oversight, and I've got oversight over the entire federal government, you're not going to keep me out of anything.
One of the things that's been happening in terms of the playing ball has been federal unions have been suing to block Musk's ability to actually access the sensitive data for the Treasury.
Yeah.
Congress, obviously, in a different position than a litigant, an average litigant. What could the Democrats do specifically, as opposed to being in the majority, to actually try to combat this? It doesn't sound like there's the largest of appetites among Republicans to say that the mandate may have been for you to serve in office, but not to have this wide scope of authority for a non-elected official.
Well, I'm definitely going to.
Well, they're making it sound like Trump, or not Trump. They're making it sound like Elon has all of this power to do whatever he wants. It's just like blatantly false. They're trying to paint this picture and make him look like, he's the real president. It's just so false. He can't do anything without Trump's approval. So he can't do anything at all on his own. He can't touch nothing he can't touch anything that impacts his finances. He can't erase anything. He can't make any fixes without the administration's approval. So they're painting this fake picture of him running everything. It's just blatantly untrue.
Going to say that the mandate wasn't there at all. The numbers are really small, kind of like his crowds. So I'm not going to say that there was a mandate. But what I will say is that it is time for us to stand shoulder to shoulder with those that are going to file those lawsuits. We've got to make sure that they know that we are giving them access to our constituents, making sure that they know these are the stories of our constituents. These are the ones that are willing to testify about the fear that they are living through. I get emails consistently about people saying, what the heck is going on? And here's the reality. The reason that you have to have a certain level of clearance before you can engage in these types of actions, or you may even have to be confirmed in some way, is because really you can cause a lot of harm. And no one has explained, listen, if your whole job is to figure out where we can cut money, then sit down and look at the budget and say, line by line, listen, Mr. President, what you should do is in your proposed budget that you send over to the Congress, you should cut this, you should cut that, the same way that he decided during his first term that he was going to zero out money for HBCUs, and Dr. Adams had to come and fight to get that money for HBCUs back.
I will note that if you are a special government employee, there are...
Just because she's saying that, I haven't even looked that up, but just because she's saying that, I assume that she's lying or she's painting a complete different picture. Because from what I remember Trump did a lot of stuff for HBCUs in his first term. So whatever she's saying, it's probably a lie, honestly. Even though I haven't even looked it up, it's probably a lie.
Are limitations for when you have to file disclosure or ethics. If you exceed a certain amount of time, it triggers even more oversight over who you are for the reasons you're talking about. But I want to get to a new appointment that seems to be happening. President Trump is appointing Darren Beattie to a top State Department role. I know many people remember who Darren Beattie is. He was fired in 2018 from being a speechwriter. He was speaking at a conference attended by white nationalists. And then a few months ago, he posted this, Congresswoman: competent white men must be in charge if you want things to work. Unfortunately, our entire national ideology is predicated on coddling the feelings of women and minorities and demoralizing competent white men. Your reaction to his appointment?
He needs to go. I mean, this is very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. Here is the problem.
Of course, Congresswoman.
She said 80% of the people who commit violent crimes are white supremacists. No statistic anywhere says that. She completely made that up right here on the spot. Just lying, just straight up lying. She literally told a straight-faced, bold-faced lie on live TV. Wow. And the anchor, I'm assuming she's not going to say anything. Let's go roll it. Let's go ahead and move forward. I'm assuming she's not going to say anything about it.
They sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. Here is the problem.
Of course, Congresswoman, to interrupt you, but President Trump, of course, has denied any allegations he's a white supremacist, and that's why he apparently fired what he. I know your point, but he did fire Darren Beattie in reaction, they believe, in part to his attendance at that conference. Does that change your opinion in any
No,
way?
it doesn't change my opinion, because we saw what he literally recently just posted, and the coddling is for the white boys. That's what's happening right now. I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day.
But is it any different, though, if he is actually a white supremacist, right? If you look at what she is saying right now, is it really that much different from what he was saying? Is it that much different? Because she's saying all of this anti-white stuff, and to me, it's really not that much different. It's like a different side of the same coin. It's literally the same thing. It's crazy how she doesn't see the hypocrisy in what she's saying, because she's literally doing the same thing as that dude. She's demonizing this dude for doing what she's doing. Wow. It's just like, it's not funny, but it's concerning. Not really concerning. It's wild because you can be blatantly anti-white on TV and no one cares. It's fine. It's like celebrated. But if you say something about black people, if you say something about Muslims, if you say something about minorities, like anybody, then it's bad. You're bad. You're Uncle Tom. You're racist, white supremacist. But if you say something about white people, no one cares. Nobody cares at all. No one cares. No one even bats an eye. And it's funny because a lot of like liberal white people don't even care. Like they're talking about you too. This is like, wow. The delusion is everywhere. Like it's literally everywhere.
You know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt who I am? Is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education. This is why they are trying to literally say we won't fund the HBCUs, because they know that if they've already gone after affirmative action and they're saying, you know what, don't allow them to come into, say, these PWIs, as we call them, don't allow them to come into these institutions. We know why they created the HBCUs in the first place. It was because they wouldn't allow us into the white institutions. And so now they're not allowing us in. And now they're saying, you know what, we're also going to defund the HBCUs. You know why? Because they don't want any more Kamala Harrises. They don't want any more Jasmine Crockett's. But
I'm going to be real. I don't want any more Kamala Harris's either. And I don't want any more of Jasmine Crockett's. No more Jasmine Crockett's. And no more Kamala Harris's. Done. Like, I'm totally for that. That's fine. I'm totally cool with that. She's talking about how she had to work 10 times harder to get in her seat. How do you have to work 10 times harder? You have to, you go through an election, right? You're a representative. You go through an election. You have to get votes. It's not like you had to take a test and study and take a test. It's not like you had to take a PT test, clearly. See, this is what I'm talking about. The Democratic Party, if the Democratic Party continues like this, it's a wrap for like 20 years, because no one's going to vote for them ever. No one's going to vote for them for a long time. And I hope people like her become leadership, because the Democrats will never come back. They will never come back. I hope the Democrat Party stays like this. It's literally just a clown show. It's a show. They're all characters. It's so funny, dude. It's like the Democratic Party is literally a bunch of women who own cats and have high cholesterol and a bunch of low T dudes. Clearly, all them dudes over there is gay. I don't know if you saw the video. If you just look at the video, clearly all them dudes are low T or gay or both. Anyway, just continue to do this. You can't win. You cannot win an election in the United States where 60% of the population is white. You're not going to win with this kind of rhetoric, bro. Like, it's so crazy to me. You really think you can win? Even if you count the Spanish population, that's like what, 15%? So 75%? It's a wrap, dude. Like, you guys are never gonna win an election again. I don't think that's ever going to happen anytime soon. Clearly, if people like her are running stuff, and then from what we just saw at the DNC leadership election, wow. And the vice chair is the anti-gun activist, wow. You guys are doomed. The Democratic Party is doomed. I swear, it's doomed.
But I got news for them. I don't care what they do. We will fight to the end to make sure that we get our due. Because again, if you want to talk about the people that shouldn't be in this country, you probably need to look in the mirror. Because the last time I checked, the Native Americans who some of ICE have been rounding up, or the Puerto Ricans who are absolutely Americans, listen, the only people that came and colonized this place are your ancestors, Trump.
She said nothing. She said nothing. That's so crazy. And these people want, this is why CNN is failing. She said nothing that entire time. No contesting, didn't contest nothing she said. She just let her rant and literally say and make up whatever she wanted. And she said nothing. She just moved on to the next question. And these people call themselves journalists and they wonder why no one watches their program. Ah, man. Literally the whole interview that we just saw, 8 minutes of her ranting anti-white sentiment. That's literally it. And it's fine. She didn't say nothing else. Nothing else. But I'm cool with it because the Democratic Party wants this. They want women like her to lead them. And I hope she does. I really do, because that will be the end of the Democratic Party. I really hope she starts leading stuff, because, wow, it's going to be so many W's. So many W's. There really isn't much to say about this. It's just outrageous. She's just outrageous. I don't know. There's really not much else you can say about this.